All right, welcome back. So last time we started working on putting a 2D game inside a 3D game, and what we did was we made sure that you can move around as the 2D character once you transition into it. Transition into the 2D character. All right, cool. Now what we need to do is make sure that we set up that 2D game. So let's go ahead and start this episode off by setting that up. So this game will exist within the same map. That's the secret. We're not going to move maps. We're not going to change levels or anything. We're just going to stay in the same map. So what we're going to do is we're just going to build our 2D level right here underneath the map. So what I want you to do is drag this 2D character, your paper character, underneath the map. Go down, down, down. And what we're going to do is we're going to give them a ground. We're going to give them some kind of land to sit on. So this would be the ground plane for that 2D character. And when you make a 2D game, you're really just making a diorama. If you can remember those from school, that's literally what you're doing when you're making a 2D game. You're making a diorama. So I would do that and that. And so now there's a background and there's a playing field. Now, if you're still able to see like all this extra stuff here, when you do play the game, then you need to move your level down, everything down, your 2D level. So I might just move it a little bit further down here. Yep, right around there. And for this background, I'm going to make it way bigger so that it definitely covers up everything. So now when we change into the 2D character, we will be on our little 2D level. Perfect. So on my 2D character, I'm going to take the spring arm and I'm going to make here. I'll take the spring arm. I can't think of what it's called. The target arm length, I'm going to make it way longer. So it shows it like that. All right, you can take that rotation of the spring arm and put it at +10, but I'm going to keep mine at -10. All right, cool. Next thing I need to do is add a background. Luckily, I have a PNG that I downloaded to be my background, so I'm just going to drag that into my folder here with my sprites. Drag that in. All right, now that that's in there, all I have to do is put that background onto this here. And it's upside down, so let's flip it the right way. And let's make it a little bit wider. And we could put it up a little bit here. Oh, like that. And then what we need to do is we can brighten it up. So go to that material here and let's add a little bit of emission. Hold the number 1 and we're going to put the value maybe like, I don't know, point something, 0.3 or something like that. And then put a multiply times the color and then plug that into emissive. And then that way it's going to be a little bit brighter. If it's too bright, you just turn down this value right here. So that makes it more of a 2D game, 2D-esque. Now when you transition into this character, you're going to be playing on this little 2D map. And I would change this into like sandstone to match. Perfect. Now all I gotta do is make the items falling from the sky. So for the items falling from the sky, it'll look like this. Basically, all we gotta do is go into our sprites folder. Let's do our first one right here, which is going to be the banana. Right click, we could create a flip book out of it. It's called banana PNG flip book. Here, That's all we need there. Let's make an actor. What you need is a paper sprite actor or a flipbook actor, paper flipbook actor. Since we just made it into a flipbook, let's just do a flipbook actor. If we didn't make it into a flipbook, we could have just used a sprite actor. So I'll show you how to do both. The reason why you would make anything into a flipbook is because it has animations. In our case, they don't have animations, so the right way for me would be sprite. But since we just made a flipbook out of the banana, let me show you how to do it as a flipbook, just in case you have animations. And this is going to be called master. Well, this is going to be called item uh, underscore fall underscore BP. So this is going to be the item that's going to be falling from the sky. So when I open it up, it's going to first be asking me, hey, which flipbook do you want to add? For this one, we're just going to add the banana flipbook here. Compile, save. Now, that's pretty big. We'll see it when we drop it in the world. But regardless, let's add a sphere collision to it. And now let's make the banana small enough to fit inside that sphere collision. I'm going to make my banana 0.1. And I'm going to make the sphere, the extent of the radius, just cover the whole banana. Like that. Okay, compile and save. Now you've got, it's just like any other actor, even though it's a flipbook actor, it's just like any other actor. Only difference is you can control the flipbook. So if you have multiple flipbooks for this actor, you can switch them in and out. We're not doing that. All we're going to do is let this thing fall from the sky. So literally, you can put gravity on it and just watch it fall. So let's look and see if we can do it that way. Physics. Can you simulate the physics here? No, you can't. So since you can't put any physics on it, what you need to do is just add a component. We're going to add a projectile movement, so that it'll come down in the Z direction. And on this projectile movement, let's just open up everything. The initial speed, I'm going to say like, what, 600? Max speed, 600. Maybe make it faster than that, like 1500. No, maybe 900. I don't know. Fuck. Okay, 900. And then none of these are going to be clicked. Should it bounce? I mean, no. Let's see here. Is it a homing projectile? No. Here's the velocity. Right now it's moving down. I mean, it's moving in the X1. We want it to be moving in the Z -1. Okay. Now that should really have this thing moving. As long as it's movable, which it is, then it'll move. So let's see if that happens here. I've got one right here in my level. So let's play from here and actually see if it works. Play from here. Yeah, it moved. Okay, it was moving way too fast, but it moves. So now all we got to do is create a spawner. So now that the item does that, let's make a spawner. So let's go to a blueprint class, and we just make an actor. And this is going to be called a blueprint actor. It's going to be called fruit spawner underscore BP. And when you go here, the first thing that you want it to do is you want to add a scene component. So it has like a location stuff. Compile and save. Event graph. Go to that scene component, grab it off. And what we want to do is, let's make a custom event called spawn fruit. And the way it's going to work is it's going to spawn an actor from class. The actor from class that we're going to spawn is called item fall. So let's see if you can find that item fall. Where are you going to spawn it? Right here at the scene. So at the scene, say get world location and get world rotation. Okay, and those need to be plugged into the transform, so you need to split that, plug in the location to the location and the rotation to the rotation, and then the actor, cool. Once it does spawn it, then you just need to let it be because it's going to start falling. And then at the item fall, let's go to the event graph here and delay on the begin play. Delay for like, what, 4 seconds? And then destroy the actor. That way we won't be filling up the screen with too many actors. It can even be less than that, but I'm going to say 4 to be safe. Here, back in our fruit spawner is going to spawn that fruit. So right at the begin play, we could say spawn fruit. And actually we want it to continuously spawn fruit. So we are going to say delay here. Maybe for this, I want it to be a random number. So I'm going to drag off the green and say random float in range. And I'm going to say between 2 seconds, between 1 second and between 5 seconds. That's when you're going to spawn another one. So then I'm just going to call the function again, spawn fruit. And when this spawner gets into the world, it's going to start this function, which this function will just repeat and loop itself. Perfect. Now you've got your item. Now we need to make it so that this function, this item fall, it can load up any one of those fruits. But we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to make this class into an array. So come over here and drag off of here and promote it to a variable. And it says class. Compile and save. Where this says actor, we need to change this into an array of actors. Change variable type. It's going to load and do its thing. And the connection will be severed, so we're going to have to unconnect it. But this way, we only have to have one type of spawner that can spawn everything. So let's take that off. All right, and so we're going to say get, oh, my keyboard. Get a copy. And then from here, we're going to say random integer in range. Now, depending on how many actors we put into this class, that's what the range of the integers will be. So when we make all of our different items from item fall, then yeah, that's what will happen. The last thing on item fall we need to do is on that sphere, when it overlaps that paper character, so go on the sphere, go over here, begin overlap, other actor, paper character. So when it overlaps the paper care, we want it to do something. In this case, I'm going to say custom event, do something. And in this case, I just want it to do something. So drag off here and say do something. Bet. Now, whatever I write down here, it will do just that. And you can write a different thing for each item. And that's what we'll do. So in the fruit spawner, all it's going to do is get this class, and we're going to fill this class up with different actors from the item fall. This is just going to be our main one. We'll just make child blueprints from this one, and then we'll be good to go, to be honest. That should work. So that's what I'm about to do. For here, let's just say destroy actor. Destroy actor. That's the do something for the item fall. So instead of putting this banana here, let's put the item spawner or the fruit spawner here. Let's open it up real quick. The reason why I won't allow you to do anything is because this is not connected. Let's add one array element here, and this will be item fall. All right, Let's just see if that works. Play from here. Okay, yep, you see? And every time it's hitting the basket, it's disappearing. Good. That's exactly what we want. Now the next step is going to be add all your fruit in, and then we can put those item spawners to be either moving or to have multiple across the level. All right, we're almost finished with this part 2. There will be a part 3 to this because we got to make it into an actual game. But part 2 is about to end on this note. So back in our paper character, we need to add some kind of point system. So on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side over here in the variables, let's add a new one. Let's call it points. And we're going to make it an integer. And now all we got to do is write a custom event in the event graph. So custom event. And we're going to say add points. And we need to add points. So get points. Add. And then this number right here is going to be a variable. So drag this off and promote it to a variable. And we'll call it fruit points. And then we need to set the points. And that's all you have to do. For adding points, so I'm going to comment that one and call it add points. Now, every time the fruit falls with it, we can add points. So when it overlaps, it needs to do something. So let's say add points. Add points. So I add points to them. But this add points thing, it needs an output or in some kind of, yeah, let's go back to the character here. On add points, come over here and put an endpoint. And this is going to be that integer fruit points. So we'll just make that fruit points. And make it an integer. And hook up fruit points to here. Now we can delete it from the variable on the left-hand side. You don't need it. Compile and save. And now in your item fall, when you see add points, it's going to say what are the fruit points that you want to add. So in the item fall, we'll make a variable called fruit points. And this will be an integer. And now each item can have their own fruit points. And every time it's going to, every time it hits the paper character, it'll do the point system. Or if it doesn't, if it's not supposed to add points, we'll also do that because there's some that we could just make negative. You know what I'm saying? If it was supposed to take away points, it just put negative points. Then it's going to destroy the actor. So that's where we're going to stop now. We've got a point system. Let's go ahead and make sure it works from the paper character's perspective. So all right, walk over here, walk over here. Now I'm this. Oh, banana. Oh, banana. Oh, I missed that. So now all we have to do in the next episode is add a HUD and add the rest of the fruits and make sure that they have different points. And then also we can add like a little point system that shows up when the player does catch the banana. Lastly, we need to add sound and music to this so that it does its own thing down here. Cool. And we'll put bounds on it and everything. So I hope you learned something in this episode. Right now, we're rolling right along. We've got a 2D game inside of our 3D game. And if you really wanted to get granular, you could draw your background. You could draw your floor. And it'll work the exact same way. But thank you for joining me in this episode. I hope that you learned something. We'll work on this on the final third part in the next one. So I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Peace. Peace.
Run to the money, hold my feet, don't fail. Man, the DA and the judge wanna do their best to jail.